Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something fascinating, the gift of wisdom.
Yes, we've got this text here, a chapter focusing on August and the idea of solitude.
Right, and it seems to be part of a larger framework, a guide for living what it calls a soul-based life. Apparently, it follows some earlier steps to authenticity.
So it suggests a kind of progression.
Yeah, a journey maybe you, the listener, can relate to as well.
And the core idea, well, it really grabs you. This notion that embracing solitude lets us connect directly to, well, a divine source.
Connect directly.
Yeah, and understand that we are souls already complete. That's the central premise here.
Okay, that's quite something.
Hmm.
So let's unpack that direct connection idea a bit more.
Sure.
The text talks about direct communication.
It does. Like the soul, or sometimes it says God, speaks right to our consciousness.
How? Through these daily affirmations.
That seems to be the mechanism proposed. And for August, those affirmations are all pointing towards solitude as the pathway.
Got it. So our mission today is really to dig into these affirmations on solitude. We want to help you understand how this whole concept fits into that soul-based life idea and, personal fulfillment.
Exactly. And that first big point, the twist, as you called it, is that direct soul communication. It's worth emphasizing again.
Go on.
It's not just believing you have a soul passively. It's this active knowing, this realization that you are a soul.
That's a significant shift in perspective.
It is. And this gift of wisdom with the daily affirmations is presented almost like a tool to help make that shift happen.
It really makes you reconsider things, doesn't it?
Mm.
So when we look at August specifically, the whole theme is solitude as a gift.
A gift, yes. The text actually argues that when you're truly alone in that state of solitude, you inherently possess everything you need. You feel whole.
So connection with others becomes different.
It becomes a choice, a conscious choice, not something driven by what the text calls the human animal's neediness. It flips the script on why we seek relationships.
Interesting. So it's moving away from need-based connection.
That's the implication. And it draws this distinction between soul-emergent and soul-dominant characters.
Okay, what's the difference there?
Well, the soul-dominant ones apparently don't feel that same pull towards, say, codependency or needing constant external validation. They're more self-contained.
Because they feel whole already.
Presumably. So solitude, in this view, is actually liberating. It frees you from relationships built on conditions or filling a perceived lack.
Right, like, I'm okay on my own, so if I connect, it's a bonus, not a crutch.
Exactly. It's about not needing someone else to complete you.
That makes sense. So, okay, let's get into some of these specific August affirmations. We can see how these ideas are actually expressed.
Sounds good.
There seem to be clusters of ideas, like happiness and where it comes from. Affirmations like, I only want you to be happy, and the gift of solitude will help you realize where true happiness originates from. What strikes you there?
Well, it's that clear message that happiness isn't external. It's not something you get from out there. Instead, it originates from within. Solitude provides the quiet space, for that inner source to actually surface.
So we don't chase it, we allow it.
Yeah.
By being still.
Kind of like that, yeah. Creating the conditions for it.
Okay. And then there are affirmations directly linking solitude to, well, the divine. Things like, the gift of solitude will bring you closer to me.
And being closer to me will promote merging as one.
Merging as one. That sounds pretty profound. It's framing solitude as a direct path to spiritual connection, isn't it?
Absolutely. That merging suggests a deep unity, a connection to something larger. And solitude is positioned as the key. It echoes a lot of contemplative practices, actually.
Right, that need for introspection, away from the noise.
Exactly.
It goes further. This one's quite strong. After we merge as one, the ego will be consumed.
Yeah, that's a big statement.
How do you read that? Solitude diminishing the ego?
Well, if you think of the ego as that part of us always seeking validation, comparing, creating separation, then solitude kind of starves it of its usual fuel. There's no social feedback loop, so those ego patterns might just lessen. They lose their power, quieting the external noise that the ego often feeds on, allowing something more authentic to emerge.
Makes sense. We also see affirmations challenging our usual ideas about being alone, like being by yourself doesn't have to be lonely.
Right, and in solitude, you need nothing.
These seem designed to actively reframe the experience of physical isolation.
Precisely. Loneliness often comes from feeling a lack, right? Needing company to feel okay. These affirmations say, no, you're already complete. Solitude is where you connect with that inner wholeness, which dissolves the potential for loneliness. Being physically alone isn't the same as being disconnected internally.
And it's not just about not being lonely, but about positive experiences too.
Yeah.
Like, there's joy in solitude. So shifting solitude from something negative, maybe even pitiable, to something actively joyful and, well, valuable.
Completely. It's presenting it as a source of genuine happiness and the space to cultivate that primary relationship, the one with your soul, or that divine essence. Nurturing that makes other relationships healthier.
Okay, then we get into freedom and love. Affirmations like, when you merge with me and identify as soul, you will be a free spirit.
And when you merge with me and identify as soul, you will discover that there is no loss in love.
How does solitude connect to being a free spirit and this idea of no loss in love? That sounds intriguing.
Well, the freedom seems tied to less dependence on external things for your identity or worth.
Okay.
By identifying with the soul, finding completeness inside through solitude, you're less bound by others' expectations or the ups and downs of conditional relationships. You're freer.
And the no loss in love part.
Maybe it suggests that real love, soul-level love, isn't something external that can be taken away. It's perhaps an inherent quality of the soul, a connection to that source that's constant, regardless of external circumstances.
That's a deep thought. Then there's guidance. Together we make good decisions.
And the flip side, separately from me, you make bad decisions.
This really highlights the practical importance of that interconnection for just navigating life.
Yeah, it suggests that through solitude and reflection, you tap into a deeper wisdom, a more aligned perspective for making choices.
So being separate means being swayed by the ego or external pressures.
That seems to be the implication, leading you down paths that aren't truly fulfilling in the long run.
It even contrasts solitude with the outside world quite starkly. It's better to be alone in solitude than to be surrounded by chaos and insanity.
That really paints solitude as a refuge, doesn't it? A sanctuary.
Almost like self-preservation.
Exactly. It highlights the mental and emotional well-being aspect. Stepping away from chaos isn't just nice, it might be, well, necessary for staying grounded.
And then the emotional contrast. Love flows in solitude, but fear thrives in chaos and insanity.
Wow, yeah. That's a powerful juxtaposition. It suggests solitude fosters safety, inner connection, the conditions for love. Chaos, on the other hand, fuels fear and insecurity.
Makes it harder to feel love, maybe.
Plausibly, yes.
The text even gives this interconnection a personality. I'm your best friend.
And I always have your best interests in consideration.
That's quite comforting, actually. It makes it feel less abstract.
It does. It frames it as this deeply personal, supportive relationship. Always there, always guiding you towards your true good. No hidden agendas.
Even the idea of soulmates comes up in relation to solitude. The text says they can enjoy solitude together.
Right, and calls them soul-dominant and old mature souls. It differentiates that from other friendships.
So even in deep connection, there's an appreciation for individual solitude.
That's what it suggests. Maybe it signifies that inner self-sufficiency again. The connection isn't based on, clinging or fear of being alone. The old souls part hints at a certain level of self-awareness.
And then, kind of summing up the mechanism, solitude promotes the stillness that is necessary to hear and know my wisdom.
Yes, that connects it all back. The practice of solitude creates the quiet needed to actually perceive that inner guidance.
Tune out the static, like you said.
Exactly, to hear the signal clearly.
And one last really vivid contrast. Together we can move mountains. Versus...
In a state of separation for me, you can move food from one side of the plate to the other.
Okay, that definitely illustrates the perceived difference in power or capability between being aligned and being disconnected.
It's a very striking metaphor, isn't it? Highlighting the potential when aligned with soul versus the feeling of limitation when operating just from the ego.
And the final August affirmation really just states it plainly. Merging with me is the wise choice.
Yeah, that encapsulates the whole theme, doesn't it? That embracing solitude, nurturing this inner connection, that's the path to wisdom and fulfillment according to this text.
So thinking about practical application, August doesn't give explicit exercises beyond engaging with these affirmations daily.
Correct. But the text does mention elsewhere that this consistent engagement helps in quieting the mind and retraining it to be in service to the soul and not strictly to the ego.
So the repetition itself is the practice, like mental training.
That seems to be the idea, like planting seeds. Consistent reflection subtly shifts your perspective over time, loosening the ego's grip and strengthening that soul connection. Patience is key, presumably.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up for you, our listener. This deep dive into August's gift of wisdom really paints solitude not as loneliness, but as this potent state.
Right, a state for connecting with your true self, your soul, and that divine source.
And this connection is presented as the key to inner happiness, freedom, and better guidance in life.
Absolutely. It challenges that common idea that we always need external validation. It suggests true fulfillment and even better relationships actually start from within, in that quiet space.
Which brings us to a final thought for you. Just consider, what might happen if you intentionally carved out even small pockets of real solitude in your day?
Hmm.
How might that begin to shift your understanding of what you truly need? Or change the nature of your relationships? What if, maybe, the deepest connections actually start right there,
Hmm.
inside you? Definitely something to reflect on. Thanks for diving deep with us today.